What's up, guys? It's Chris Greenwood, aka Manifest. So stoked about this part of the course, record labels and lawyers. We're gonna have some fun with this. I know it's more of a serious topic, and I want to just put this disclaimer out first. I'm not, authorized to give legal or accounting advice. This is just my opinion. I want to help you guys. I've been through some stuff. I've made some mistakes, and I've learned some great stuff. I worked with some really great lawyers and people, and so I just want to help you out. But at the end of the day, hire a lawyer, get professional accounting or legal advice, all right? So let's jump into this. Record labels, man, they're a part of the journey. They're not the end goal. They are a part of your team, one of many team members like publicist, lawyer, manager, booking agent, what else? Record label, okay? Or sync person, someone who does syncs for you. They're a part of the piece, of the puzzle. You know what I mean? And so don't look at it as like, once you've been signed, that's it, I made it, woo! No, record labels are great, but there's also record labels that are not so great. So you don't want to just work with anybody. First of all, you want to work with a label that has the same genre as you, that does your music. Why, if you're like a heavy metal act, you want to work with a country label, okay? Or that doesn't understand your genre, doesn't understand your music and what you do. You want somebody that's passionate about your music and wants to get it out there, that's just a perfect fit, like a glove, so that when they hear your music, they're like, I know exactly what to do with that. That means I know exactly how to market it, promote it, get it on radio, video, and use all their channels, because some people just don't get every music. I don't understand every genre of music. The way you would market a country act is way different than you would market, like, say, a drum and bass act or a heavy metal act, okay? So it's really important to work with the right team members. And you got to understand too, man, this is the day of the DIY. Okay, if you're even taking this course, that means that you're, hands-on, you believe in yourself, you're ready to put the work in. So at the same time, you don't even necessarily need a label, okay? Because now we have TuneCore, we have CD Baby, we have all these online options, social media to promote our music, to get it out there and have an amazing career, all right? So don't just sign with anyone. Don't think the label's gonna do all the heavy lifting and all the work for you, because you know what? A lot of it comes back on you and me. Even though I signed with a record label, I was amazed that they don't do as much stuff as I thought they did. They really don't. Like it used to be, maybe way back in the day they did, but now it's the time of the DIY, do it yourself. And you gotta understand, man, these contracts, which I'm gonna be going into more of the lawyer stuff with, some of them are like pages and pages long. And a lot of them, all the pages and all the info in there, that stuff isn't for you. That stuff is all in there for them. There's only a few lines that are actually for you. A lot of that stuff is to save their butt. And you gotta understand, some of the stuff with the record labels, man, they put clauses in there sometimes that say like, you can't, what is it called when you audit them? You can't audit them after 3 years and stuff like that. And isn't that kind of shady to wonder why they would even have to put in a clause there to say like, after a certain amount of time, you can no longer audit them? It's because there's some shady stuff going on there. And you got to understand, a lot of labels steal from people and are not very honest. I'm sorry to say, not all labels are like that. I've worked with a lot of great labels that have been amazing, but there's some labels that are just not honest. They steal from you. They steal from the artist. They don't give you proper books and proper reporting. And so you want to be careful of who you work with and understand that, you know what? It's not always benefiting you as much as it's benefiting them. I kind of look at it like they're the bank, man. It's not always like that. Sure, there's amazing partnerships out there. I'm not just saying this across the board, so no, I don't want to see any gnarly emails or whatnot. But at the same time, you got to look out for yourself, and I'm looking out for you. I'm looking out for the artist, okay? That's why I'm saying that. So I'm not saying all labels are bad, because I work with a lot of record labels, okay? They're great. But some you just got to watch out for and watch your back. So that is a perfect segue to get into what? Get into this lawyer stuff and contract stuff, which is super important. So what did I do to make this more fun? I brought some records with me. What up, Beastie Boys? You know what I'm saying? This old record. When you hear the term, I'm working on a record, and they don't mean a vinyl record. They normally mean a CD or an MP3 now. But I thought I'd bring in these little things because there's 4 points I want to go over. And the first one, in a record contract that you want to look out for is what? It's the advance. That's right, man. The advance is super important. Why? Not so much as because it's like, yo, how much money am I getting? It's more, how much does the record label believe in you? How much are they like invested in your project? You know, because money talks. I'm sorry. Like if it's only like a $5,000 or $10,000 advance, it's like, oh, I guess they don't really think you're going to sell that many records. I guess they don't really believe in you that much. If it's 100,000 and up, 50,000 and up, okay, they got some skin in the game. And you want to make sure they got some skin in the game, that they're going to do the promotion, they're going to do the work, you know? But at the same time, you got to understand from their perspective what they're thinking is risk management. If you're a brand new artist and you've never sold anything before, then they're like, well, I don't know if he's going to sell that many records. It's their first album and I don't know how much, they haven't toured yet. They don't have a history. That's why I'm always saying when it's time to approach the label, make sure you got your stuff together. Make sure you're in a position of negotiation so you can get that advance up. You can say, hey, look, we did all these tour dates. We sold all these records on our own. Now with you, we're hoping to amplify that times 10. We want that 10x factor. You know what I'm saying? That's what a record label should be doing, is amplifying what you've already done. If they're going to get a piece of the pie, then I hope so. You know, I'm not just going to give a percentage of you know, my sales and everything to a label unless they're going to amplify it. Same thing with a manager. You know what I mean? Unless they're going to triple, double your income, why are you giving them 15%? Good questions to ask. But at the same time, man, 100% of nothing is nothing. You know, 50% or 60% of a huge amount, a sum is better than nothing. So you got to kind of balance it out. So advance is super important. One of the other things you want to watch out for too that's totally saved my butt was the advance on the first record. Well, what about on the second record? No, I had a lawyer put in an awesome clause to say, okay, he's getting this advance on the second or on the first record, but on the second record, if you do another album with him, it has to be at least this amount. It wasn't as high as the first advance, but the second advance has to be at least this, or if he sells a certain amount of records, it even goes up higher. Okay, so these certain little clauses, you want to make sure you have a lawyer look at. It's so important to have a lawyer. Lawyers have saved my butt. That little thing I just talked about there, that's a $10,000, $20,000 savings right there, just putting one little clause. You know, it's so important to have a lawyer, even though it costs money. It's worth having. You know, I spent almost a good portion of an advance one time just to get a contract negotiated, and one of it was I got a good advance up front. It was for a deal in Europe. And then the second record, they would only get the second record if the label sold a certain amount of records. Notice the onus isn't on me, it's on them. Because I'm going to do everything I can do to promote and whatever. But it's the label's job to really sell. So if they're not going to sell a certain amount of records, they're not getting the second record. I'm sorry, you guys got to put in the work. And so that got me out of the deal. Thank God. You know what I mean? And thank that lawyer, you know, for putting that in. Super important, all right? So what do we got here? Look at this record. Oh, old Manifest record. What do I got in here? Where did I put it? Where did I put it? I hope this stuff is super helpful, man. I hope you guys take a lot of this stuff to heart because, man, it's important. You know, we don't like to talk about the business and we don't like to talk about it sometimes. But, dude, like, you need to know this stuff. Don't be blind. It's your career. It's so important. Publishing, man. Let's talk about publishing. Okay, in the deal, you'll see in the contract, you'll see that sometimes the label will want a piece of your publishing, a piece of your writer's share. Maybe you're working with one other artist or a producer, and so you split it 50-50. Sometimes a label will want a percentage of the publishing, and you got to watch out for that, man. Like, why are they wanting a piece of the publishing? Are they really going to push you hard to radio? Are they really they have a really good relationship with syncs and TV and film? Like, to own a piece of your writing? I normally try to say no, you got to keep 100% of your own publishing unless that advance is huge. And not even just advance for the record, but advance for the publishing, because normally there's a publishing deal sometimes tied to the contract. Well, that means you got to get more money, man. You can't just give away your publishing. That means that they have to sign off on the syncs. They have to, and then they get a percentage of every radio stream that you get whenever you get radio play, which is fine because it means they're more invested. So hopefully they'll push you more, but sometimes they're just money grabbing and they're not, always earning what you're giving them. Okay, so something to think about there. I've done publishing admin deals where they administrate it, but they don't actually own any of the publishing. And honestly, why should they, man? Why should they own it? If they want to admin it, that's fine, but when you want to cut that off and have somebody else do it, that's cool. And I normally have admin deals for countries that are way out there, like not close to me, like in North America, to go collect that money. Because sometimes an administrator to go collect your money for you is great. And you need someone to go after that money, or sometimes you gotta have thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars just sitting there uncollected, and they call that black box royalty. So you wanna make sure someone goes after that for you, okay? Normally it will come through your songwriters' royalties, but some stuff just doesn't get collected and accounted for. So that's where having a publishing administration deal is great, and that's where a label can come in. And again, if it's a major, major deal, and I'm talking like Katy Perry, Magic, big deal, and there's a lot of money involved, then yeah, you want them really on it for you, and you want the big machine working for you. But when we're talking on a smaller level deal, you don't want to be giving up all your stuff. Okay guys, so this one I'm really stoked about here. What do we got? Territories, and one of my favorite old school records, Das EFX, the real hip hop. Let's talk about some territories and where the label has the rights to sell your record. This is a big deal. Why? Because we're not just talking about selling the record just in your city or your province or your country. We're talking about the world here. Do they have rights just to sell it in Japan or in the US or in Canada? This is a really big deal, and I'm so glad my lawyer pointed it out to me when I signed my first deal, because he kept Canada for ourselves. We were allowed the label to sell to the world except for Canada. One of the big reasons why is because in Canada you have access to a lot of grants like Factor and OAC, TAC, StarMaker, and the list goes on. If you live in Canada, there is no reason why you cannot succeed as a music artist in Canada, because there's just so much support. Anyways, one of the other things is I toured a lot in Canada, and I would have had to pay the label $5 per CD and then sell it, as opposed to pressing my own for like $1, $1.50. So talk about price point, because it's hard to sell a CD for $10 sometimes. Sometimes you got to put them in packages. Sometimes you just want to give them away. And sometimes when you're just starting out and you don't got a big budget to give away a $5 CD, it's like, oh, that hurts, like merch is where you make your money. And so that's a big deal there, man. So that was a huge one there. But specifically what I want to focus on is like, if the label doesn't have relationships in another country, like say Japan, then why are you giving them, the right to distribute it there? If they're just, just kind of like eating away at your online sales just by putting it on there and then, just taking the money, that's why they want the world, is because they want all the different income streams, even though they're not doing anything in that territory. Where it makes sense, where the territory says the world, when it's a full deal, like a full massive deal, they got relationships in all those countries and they're pushing you in all those territories, like worldwide release. I'm seeing it happen with my buddy in Magic right now. It's a full deal, full, priority record across the world. That's awesome when you have the full machine going for you. Otherwise, if I'm signing a deal with a label in the US, why do they need Germany if they're not going to really do anything? Or in England, or even Canada, if they're not really going to push it? Okay, sure, they might have a little bit of distribution, but what kind of marketing are they actually going to do for the record in that territory? Because remember, with YouTube, it's 80% of the traffic is outside of the US. And again, we have all these, where's my iPhone? We have all these tools that we can use to promote ourselves internationally. You don't just need the label. You know what I'm saying? So basically all I'm saying when it comes to territories is ask them why. Why do you need it? What are you doing for me there? Kind of fight back and pull it back, because, it is a little bit more work sometimes to do the record deals with each, different label and territory, and it takes time to build those relationships. Well, that's why there's a conference called MIDEM. It's MIDEM, and I've gone to it a few times now. It's amazing. I've made awesome relationships with different labels. Like I did a record deal with a label in India, and they released my record. So cool, man. And in South Africa, and people that are actually on the ground in that territory, pushing it to radio, pushing it to their outlets. You know what I mean? Like that's where it makes sense, and that's where really you want to have a label that has those relationships in places you can't go and really promote. So hey, I hope that serves you. Let's jump to the next topic of this course. What else do we got here? I like this record. Oh, what's up, man? DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. Remember this dude? This is one of my favorite records. The Term. The Term is a really important point you want to look at when it comes to the record contract. How long do they have your record for? If you signed a full deal, which is probably like they own the masters, then they probably own it forever, or I've heard like 20 years, which is way too long in my opinion. There's a word called perpetuity. I'm totally saying it wrong. That's why I wrote it down here. Perpetuity is what it's called. And you know what that word means? I'll read it to you because I wrote it down. Perpetuity, it says the state or character of being perpetual, so that it just keeps going and keeps going. Another word is endless or indefinitely long duration or existence or eternity. If you see that in a record contract, to be honest, you need to run. Okay? That just means that they have it forever, and you should never give your music over forever. Sure, if you're doing a sync placement or a licensing deal or something like that, and they use your song forever, but they don't own it, that's different. Okay, they may be buying the use to use their song in a film, and they can use it forever, and you get paid and you get bought out for that, but it doesn't mean they own the song. When it comes to the record contract and the term of them holding the rights to your record, to be honest, it really should only be 2-3 years max, because you know what? Most labels aren't promoting after 1.5, 2 years. So 3 years, sure, they finish, sell it off, it should come back to you. I've signed deals where it was 7 years, 5 years, and that is just too long. You should get your baby back, which is your music, once they're done promoting it, okay? That is my opinion, and I've done a lot of licensing deals, so I never actually signed over my masters, so eventually I got my records back, and that is a huge income stream into your pocket, okay? So you want to make sure you get those records back as soon as you can. You promote the crap out of them with the label. That's great. You get their system and everything like that. Promote it. They make the lion's share. That's fine, whatever, but you get it back, and you get to keep selling it for eternity, okay? Because you know what? These are your assets. These are your babies. And if you're planning on doing this for a long time, you know, it's building a heritage and building an income stream for you to have all these records that are yours. You know, dimes add up to dollars, and you want to have that income stream, okay? So 3 years, 4 at the max, okay? Here is my big $50,000 mistake. I signed a deal with the label, and it was for 5 years. I could have so easily negotiated 4. I probably could have gotten 3. I don't know for sure, but I know I could have gotten it down from 5, okay? I didn't think about it. I was in a bit of a rush. Everything else was good, advanced, whatever, and I signed the deal. And I think I had already negotiated the points before with a lawyer, and it was almost the exact same contract. And so I wasn't thinking long term. And if I had to cut that term down from 5 to 4, because this record is still selling really well, I calculated the money is about $50,000 I lost. $50,000 because of 1 point. Maybe I could have gotten a lawyer to relook at that, or maybe I should have thought about it a little bit, but I should have gone over these points. Just one small thing, the term, how long the label had it, could have saved me $50,000. That's why this is called Smart Music Business Course, because I made one of many dumb decisions, and I don't want you to make the same one. You never know that your record's going to blow up or what's going to happen. Yes, you want to make sure you get paid up in front, but at the same time, if you're planning to do this career for a really long time and you believe in this music and you know its hits and you're going to be out there touring, getting it out there, then you want to make sure that the term is short so you can get your baby back, so you can get 100% of the money, because it's you that's, really slogging it out there, touring, promoting. Like, everything isn't always on the labels. A lot of it is on us, artists, to promote it and make it happen. And the cool thing is, man, we got the tools, man. We got the iPhones, we got the social media, we got the YouTubes, we got the radio, all these amazing tools. There has never been a better time for you to do this. Never been a better time. So don't get nervous about this stuff. Don't get scared. Just get in there, get your hands dirty, make things happen, take action. Don't be afraid to spend money on your career. Just make sure you get references. Make sure you get a good referral. Don't just trust anybody, even though I know sometimes at the beginning you just want someone to believe in you. You want someone to believe in you. Well, hey, without sounding cheesy, I believe in you. I know you can do this. Be patient. It doesn't happen overnight, but it will happen if you don't give up and you don't quit. Hey, post a comment or question below. I want to hear from you. I know this is going to stir up a lot of questions and different things, so I want to help you out as much as I can. Okay, peace. What's up, guys? It's Chris Greenwood, aka Man.